Welcome in, guys, to yet another episode. No, I'm kidding. This is a 9.1 video. We finally got a 9.1 release date, and as you can see, it's June 30th. Obviously, for NA people, that will be June 29th, but you know what it means. Guys, this video is basically both an announcement, but I also want to talk about what this makes, or not makes, but what this does to impact how gold making works. Now, obviously, the fact of the matter is there is under 2 weeks until the patch comes out, which means that Blizzard has very little time to change things. And we also, a lot of us, me included, but also the people that I talk to, don't think that they're going to make too many big changes, not something that would impact it on a larger scale. So a lot of the things that are currently on the PTR, you can expect those to be pretty certain. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt because it's still in PTR. Patch isn't out yet, but it's very close to be out. So back to what this is going to do. Everybody is going to start heavily investing into 9.1 now. So that means all the markets that revolve around the legendaries, every single material is going to be bought up. It's going to be flipped around. Everything's going to go crazy. The most important thing that you guys can do currently is not panic. Do not panic. We are not even in the patch yet. Obviously, I would recommend that all of you look. If you haven't invested yet, this is probably even too late now. But there's going to be a lot of people still dumping materials before 9.1 even comes out. So even if you're thinking about investing into things now, there's still a lot of time for it. Okay. Now, what would I recommend? Based on what I would recommend, it's really just what I plan to do. I plan to, in 9.1, of course, make legendaries. But there is the fact that we need as many core fight crystals as we do. Because currently we need 40 core fight crystals to make one vestige of origins, which means that's one base legendary. And one base legendary is not really that much. So there's going to be scarcity because we originally thought that it was 5 a week of core fight crystals that we would get, but I've got new information that it might have been upped to around 10. But what this means is it's still going to take 4 weeks to get enough for one vestige of origins. So core fight crystals is still going to be insane. Core fight crystals is going to be one most singular important thing that you can get into or do anything about. Farming it, selling it, buying it, whatever it is, you need to look at it and you need to follow it. That's what you have to do in 9.1. And that's what I'll be doing. Now, I think that me personally, I don't think on my server there's going to be too much competition, and I don't think that I'll be able to actually fight that competition well enough, and I also don't want to. I would probably rather farm the core fight crystals and probably sell them for a super high premium early on. I would imagine that the demand for these items are going to be so high on my server because of how many high-end content raiders that exist on my server that they're going to be willing to overpay obnoxious amounts for core fight crystals. Now, you have to make that decision yourself, and this is only very early on. When the patch goes into, you know, a month in or 2 months in, it's going to calm down, and we're going to get to a point where everybody can craft legendaries with core fight crystals. And who knows? Blizzard might change something, right? But the other thing that I am doing currently, I have been investing the last 2 months actually, into 9.1. Now, I have invested in everything that helps me create leatherworking legendaries, cloth legendaries, and blacksmithing legendaries. So that's all of the ore, and that's all the cloth, and that's all the leather, and everything revolving around that. So if you guys haven't looked into that, you need to look into every single market and consider your options, okay? That's what I've been doing. Now, I've also been preparing what is a really good idea. Now, if you are anywhere close to even considering going into the legendary market, even if you're just selling the materials, I would recommend that you go ahead and you craft your enchanted materials now. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it in 9.1, and it's better to get it done before the actual patch comes out. Additionally, I'm also disenchanting a whole lot to shuffle my way into a lot of enchanting materials, because enchants are also going to be selling a hell of a lot, especially because the raid in 9.1 is going to come out in the first, not the first week, but the second week. So we get on June 30th on EU, it's going to come out on July 7th. That's normal heroic difficulty. So it's already going to start there, the craziness of demand. So you need to be ready. You need to follow these raid dates and be sure that you have everything ready for these reset days, because they're going to be crucial as to how much gold that you can make. Now, I'm going to be here, and you know, obviously I'll be streaming a lot of the time, so you guys can hop over to twitch.tv/sensible, because we'll be going through all of this live, and I'll also try to update you guys as much as possible as to what we find out in the patch, what the best ways of farming core fight crystals are, what the best way of doing the dailies are, how's the markets looking, what's working out, what isn't. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on what I was doing. I'm currently preparing myself for 9.1, disenchanting, crafting my enchanted materials, all the stuff that you usually need to do before a 9.1 patch. I recommend that you still you get into it. I actually made a video going into the best way to prepare for 9.1 as a gold maker. That video is still on my channel, so if you guys want to go into the specifics as to what that is, make sure you hop over to that video, because that is a long video where I talk about pretty much absolutely everything that you can get into. But the main purpose of this video was to say that this is the last call. If you are not investing into markets now, you are going to be too late. And also the fact that I just wanted to tell you guys that we're getting 9.1. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. I hope you guys are super excited for everything coming up towards 9.1. I'll be obviously making more content about this when we get more information. But yeah, until then, I'll see you guys